What's up, you sickos? In for the options time. It's time for the premium content. And quick review. We'll start. I think it's best to go by the stocks themselves. We had premium written on Hawaiian Electric, um, which has been a whole lot of nada, which is typically good for options sellers. Um, that's my game. I'm not a buyer. I've won and lost even more, a lot of money doing that. So um, maybe in the future I'll go down that road again. But for now, we're just collecting easy passive income, trying to build the charity up. I want to get that going. And we actually had the $13 put. You can see it closed well above $13. So we get to collect that premium and just keep a hold of it. So when we come over here to the spreadsheet, I believe I put them in already. 12.8 was a $15. That's correct. We got assigned here for $13.50, but I actually sold for $13.50. So we don't have any assigned shares. We still have shares that we were trying to flip from the start, but now all this money can go toward against the cost basis. Okay, so I want to talk about why I do that. When you look at material online about the wheel strategy and things like that, you'll see when you get put shares or assigned, as they call it, people will sell a call. And what I noticed with me was when it works out great. But I always do things based on the worst case scenario. Okay? So what I started doing was just selling the equity for the exact price I got assigned. So that way I just keep track of the premium I collect. But what that does is that lowers my risk because I'm not holding shares. You know, I already have the position I'm trying to flip out of. That's why I'm doing this, to try to lower my costs so I can get out and profit and and buy time basically. But I don't want to hold like a ton of shares because there is not an unlimited amount of money for anybody. So eventually, if you play the game like that, uh, and you're trying to sell calls, well, what happens if the stock goes down against you? Well, then you can't find any premium. Okay, so you're just stuck on the shares. And that's where a lot of people take a loss and do all that, but I don't lose, so I'm not doing that. Um, so I just elect to nowadays just sell the shares. So here we got assigned for Pfizer for $30.50 a share. So I have an order for all of the shares that I got assigned through this premium for $30.50. Pretty simple. And that just keeps me in the game. So for next week, we actually took the $14. So as this thing has set this bottom here, that doesn't mean that it won't continue to fall, um, but it's also telling you it's not going down. This is kind of a zone that's going to be for a while. So I went ahead and sold the 14 for next Friday, and I was able to collect $20 per contract. But we'll just show as an example for the video. And you can see if this thing closes above $14 by next Friday, even based on a one contract example, that's $170. So if you do that by 100 shares, it would have lowered your cost basis by $1.70, which is pretty good considering it's at $14. So that's well over 10%, right? So you can lower your cost basis very rapidly, and that's what I decided to do on this one. Now, Pfizer. Good old Pfizer. Released bad guidance again last week. I got clobbered. We are going to get assigned these shares, I believe, uh, and I wanted to talk about that too. We have the 30 RSI hit. It dumped again, and it's starting to go sideways. But what I like to see too is I'm going to want to see it put at least a week's worth, like at least 4 or 5 candles to the sideways, and start closing above this blue line before I keep selling puts on a stock that is obviously just getting hammered. Um, I haven't gotten the official confirmation. You can see we collected $32 for, let me see here, the assignment. So we're getting assigned here. We're getting assigned for $28.50. So there's two ways you can do this, even with the strategy I talked about. You can take the average, $29.50, and do both lots, and that gets you out of everything sooner. Or you can do them as separate cells. Sell this one when it gets to this target, and this one when it gets to this target. The overall outlook for the stock is that it's going to go up. It's underpriced in my humble opinion, and I'm happy to have more of it and lower my cost basis, but I want to lower my risk at the same time. Okay, so that's that. We did not sell another contract on Pfizer. We're going to wait a week and just see what happens. If it starts to stabilize and go sideways, we'll get back in. But guess who's back? Back again. I went on a good old reliable here. Remember Ebix? Anybody remember this guy? And this is what I'm talking about. You see how it had the 30, right? But then it started going sideways and started giving us small signs of upward momentum as it's closing above all these clustered averages, right? So I sold a contract for Ebix again. And I actually sold the $5, which you can see for almost the entire day it was over $5. But of course I get snubbed right at the end. But we'll just slide it in here. And I was able to collect $70. So do some math on that. I was risking $500, right? And I collected 70. That's a pretty awesome return, and you can see that's what brings me back. We never collected that much before. So if it closes above $5 on next Friday, we'll have collected $357 on a $500 risk. So it's almost a free trade, right? But even though it's a risky company, it's not something I recommend investing in for the long run. I wouldn't mind holding it for a little bit, and they do make money, so I don't particularly care. But for $70, so it was like 17% for 1 week. Yeah, I'm listening. So that's what we got going on in premium content. Good old Hawaiian Electric, if it comes back down to the 13.29 range, we're likely to get assigned again. I'm okay with that. But we collected over 1% there, and then we collected the 17% on Ebix. And just to drive the point home, you can see the 30 RSI spike here. We start closing above this blue line. That's what we're looking for. And in contrast, you can see why we did not go with this one, because it is still just falling, right? We need it to start going sideways. All these averages come in. We start getting some momentum to push to the upside. Something like this. You can see, just as an example of the past action, you can see it was just cruising the same way, right? But once it hit the bottom and it started closing above the blue line, what happened? Bink. And that's what we're looking for. Just trying to be smarter with how we deploy money. I do not have an unlimited source of capital. And, I'm on a mission for this charity, so I don't want to spend the charity's money foolishly. So I hope this is helpful to you. I know this is probably not really clear or whatever, but it's something I'm doing. And if it can at least pique your interest to go do some more research and figure out exactly how this stuff works, you can research the wheel. I don't do the wheel strategy to a T. But you probably won't either, and you'll probably customize things because we are all a little bit individual. So that's what we got for premium content. We got paid today for holding the contract till next week, and we got a 50-50 this week. We collected premium on one and did get assigned on the other one. But we also sold out of Hawaiian Electric shares that got assigned to us. So you can see the money is moving, and the shares, even if they stay flat and retest the same levels and continue to fall, we get out and get in cash and collect a premium, and that's kind of what it's all about. The main thing to keep in mind too, obviously with EBIX and the 17% premium, that's just what what Max on YouTube. If you haven't seen Max, check him out. But he calls it the premium grab, and it is. We're just grabbing a ton of premium. When you have a premium that high, if you can do it a few times and get basically the whole sum, then you're just free rolling house money. So that's what we're doing there. But on Hawaiian Electric, we are truly trying to get our cost basis down and get out, right? So we're holding it in the investment account. I don't think they're going to turn the lights off in Hawaii, but if they do, we have a lot more positions. We'll move on. But this is a trading account, and that's why you got to have separate accounts. In a trading account, everything's for sale, all of it. I mean, eventually the charity money will get transferred to the charity. It's all for sale. So I hope this makes sense to you. Have an awesome weekend. I hope y'all are getting ready for Christmas. I did my run to the bank. That's about as far as Christmas goes for me. I'm not a fan. It's fun if you got little kids, but all the little kids turn into big kids. So hang in there. If you get bummed out, stick to it. It's going to be just fine. We'll get through it, get through the new year, and we'll get back to normal. So hope y'all do good, and we'll see you in the next one.